Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing? I am clearly not the host, but I will be introducing the host soon. I am the Rad Ranger. Welcome to the Intown Coffeehouse. We're so glad everybody can make it here. These lights are really bright. I have no idea who I'm speaking to. It's just an amorphous blob right now. How many people have been to Intown Coffeehouse before? Anybody? I'm not going to be able to see any of those hands because I just said I can't see a thing. If you have not been here before, they have a donation bucket back in the back. If you feel so compelled, please go ahead and drop a few bucks in there. They don't charge for these events, but they do take the donations to help offset that. A couple other housekeeping things. If you take pictures, please take pictures. And please hashtag them, Needless Things 200. Share them on Instagram, share it on Facebooks, on the Twitters, on whichever social medias you may be on. Share it wide, share it with the world. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the Needless Things 200th episode extravaganza? So without any further ado, let's bring out the man of the hour. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Dave!
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. And I've got to say, that couldn't have been any more perfect because you totally forgot something. And it wouldn't have been a Red Ranger moment if we didn't have a way to so everybody, this is an incredible venue. I think we can all agree, right? So please do, if you got cash with you, if you want to make a little donation, this show is free, the coffee's free, everything's cool, but there's a basket back there that you can make a donation to help cover the expenses for tonight and for every night that this great venue performs. So please, you know, whenever you can, not right now, because we're having fun. This is the show, so don't get up now.
I'll come around later.
Yeah, he'll come around with the basket later. Yeah. Pass it around. But I'm Dave West. I am the host of the Needless Things podcast, and I generally start every episode with a very specific thing. Hey, Phantomaniacs, welcome to the newest episode of the Needless Things podcast, where we talk about toys, movies, music, and all manner of pop culture dorkery. I am your host, Dave, and I really appreciate you coming out tonight to witness the culmination of my years-long battle with technology. I'm not good at it. I don't handle computers particularly well. It's a miracle that I have a device here that can record sounds that come out of my mouth. And that I can use it. The fact that I put on a weekly podcast is nothing short of a miracle. And this all started back in the MySpace days, if you remember MySpace. I wanted to write things. This all began actually with one of the most tragic events in really the course of human history, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. That movie made me so angry that I did what so many people do and took to the internet with my rage. And I wrote out a long, scathing review of this, and I didn't know what to do with it, so I put it up on MySpace. And I at that point, realized that I had this venue to get my words out. And as we all know, MySpace sadly turned into something even more useless than it already was. So I had to start a website, which was needlessthingspodcast.com, long before it was ever actually a podcast. And that story you can hear some other time, because I don't want to sit here at our live show with amazing guests and take up your time with that. So I'm going to go over here and have a seat behind the desk, host style. But while I'm doing that, ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Ricky Zero and the world's nicest band.
He really wasn't the one for me.
ladies and gentlemen, Ricky Zero and the world's nicest band. Now, Ricky.
Yes.
You are so much more than just a master musician.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
You're also a master of humor.
Am I now?
From what I hear, we'll find out in a minute, won't we?
Would you like for me to give a little sample, a little taste?
I think, personally,
Yes.
and I'm sure the people would love a sample of that signature Ricky Zero humor.
Well, I can tell a joke. Would you?
Would you guys like a joke? Do you want a joke?
Okay, all right. This is the joke that I'm going to tell. There's a restaurant on the moon, and the moon doesn't have an atmosphere. And when people eat there, they say the food is good. Yeah. But there's no atmosphere on the moon.
Ricky Zero, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, Ricky.
Better than usual.
All right, we got. Let's. Do we want to maybe bring up a special guest? Because I see somebody sitting here in the front row that I think you'd all be privileged to meet. Ladies and gentlemen, Negative Nelson is here in the audience. Come on up here, Negative Nelson. Scoot over, Red Ranger.
Nelson!
All right. I got a lot of complaints, and you people are going to hear about them.
Oh, no, wait. It can't be that bad, can it?
Have you seen his shoes? It's that bad.
They're joyous symbols of his Red Ranger-ness, right?
On brand.
Right. No? Okay. Well, what else has got you down, buddy?
All right. I'm going to give this to you in a top 5 list because unlike other talk shows, we can do this in half the time.
Well, I feel like I'm up here. I feel like I need to reassure you, if I can. I want to make you feel better, Negative Nelson.
Well, let's just start and we'll see where it goes.
All right. What's your first complaint?
People who like DC movies and try to pretend like it's not all plot holes and sepia tones.
Oh, now come on, man. They're fun spectacles. We get to see Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman up on the big screen. It's fun, right, guys?
Yeah!
It's fun stuff.
Woo!
No? You don't feel any better? All right. What's your next one?
People who like Marvel movies and try and pretend like they're Shakespeare and not just kind of good.
Oh, you don't have to hate on everything. Marvel movies they're this huge interconnected world, and they all tie in with each other, and we get these awesome performances, and it's fun to see A-listers like Iron Man on the screen, right?
Yeah!
Man,
No, that didn't do it for you. What do you got next?
people who don't like tacos, there's not a lot of them out there, but they're out there, and just one is too many.
Yeah, I can't make you feel better about that one, buddy. I'm sorry. What else you got?
People.
People? But people are great. People are here. Look at all the people that came together tonight to make this incredible show happen. Doesn't that make you feel warm and fuzzy?
These guys are all right, but have you met people?
Yeah, there's some bad ones out there, but I think we're in a good place tonight. You've got to feel at least a little better about the people thing, like in the moment now.
In the moment, yes.
All right, score one for us. We made Negative Nelson feel a little better. Oh no, you've got another one? All right, is this it? Is this the last one?
This is the last one.
All right, so you're almost done sucking the joy out of the room?
Well, I mean, I'm still going to be here.
Okay, well that's fine. That's fine. What do you got, buddy?
Days that end in Y.
I think
But they all do. Days are great, because the only thing better than today, which ends in a Y, is tomorrow, which doesn't end in a Y, but it's the potential for a bright, happy future, right?
Yay!
Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Negative Nelson. I hope you feel better, buddy. We're gonna try and have some fun tonight.
I'll feel better when he takes those shoes off.
Well, I can't disagree with you there.
In his laboratory behind the castle wall, he made his greatest discovery. They said that he was crazy, they said it lost its mind. But now the whole wide world would see. Man-made monster, straight from the cemetery. Man-made monster, he stalks at night. Man-made monster, straight from the cemetery. Man-made monster, run for your life.
Ricky Zero and the world's nicest band featuring Jazz Ingram on the saw. How often do you see that? All right, we've got some exciting guests for you tonight, and it's gonna be time right now to bring out our first guest. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to geologist, my pal Jay Hornsby. All right, now Jay, the Needless Things audience mostly knows you from toy reviews, talking about Toy Fair, Comic-Con, that sort of thing. But I wanted to bring you on tonight because you have a very unique qualification, and that is you are actually a geologist.
That is correct. I've got the standard career path of starting out as a fine arts major, ending up with a geology degree, and now working for an engineering firm. I still do art on the side, and that's what we talk about quite a bit. Belligerentmonkey.com. That's belligerentmonkey.com.
Belligerentmonkey.com, everybody.
But yes, so my day job is I deal with geology and drill borings and deal with the subsurface all day long.
So, what I wanted to talk to you about tonight is you have a unique perspective on things that we generally talk about on Needless Things, and that's nerd stuff.
Sure.
And let's say, because the nature of your job is a company hires you and you let them know on their build site what it's going to take. Is that, am I right or am I off?
Yes, we're kind of pre-construction, so when someone decides they want to build something, they look at a site, decide that that's the site they want to buy. We come out before they buy it, drill borings, test the soil, test the rock, and essentially tell them what it's going to take for them to build what they want to build.
So let's say you didn't work in Atlanta. Let's say you worked in Gotham City.
Sure.
And a billionaire came to you and said, hey, I have this sort of military type project where I'm going to need a large underground space to store dozens of cars that may or may not be bat-themed in appearance, several flight vehicles, maybe a space shuttle, a supercomputer. What is he going to have to go through to get you to check out this site?
Well, let's assume Gotham City is, somewhere similar to upstate New York.
Okay.
The geology there is is actually very beneficial for that sort of thing.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So he's off to a good start.
Yeah, already great start. So they have a lot of sedimentary rocks that are water soluble, that over millions of years, there's chemical reactions that rock dissolves and caves and caverns form. And so what we would do would be some sort of series of rock cores and air track drilling to test for those voids. And then once you found it, then you could do the spelunking and see the size and investigate the caves.
Now, would you, let's say he really wasn't as familiar with his surrounding area, would you recommend a pre-existing cave, or would it be better to actually dig something out?
I would recommend a pre-existing cave for sure.
Okay,
Just
okay.
The economics of that would be crazy.
Okay, I got you. Well, he's a billionaire.
Yeah, and if you're a billionaire here located in Atlanta, say, you would want to look in the Cartersville, White, northwest Georgia area, because that's a very similar geology.
So if we ever get a costume vigilante here in Atlanta,
There's
Chances
a good
are
chance he's based out of Cartersville.
That's his commute. Okay. Everybody remember
a
that.
whole other kind of vigilante.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Wild Bill.
Are there
that's
any?
awesome.
You're sitting with your prospective billionaire client. Are there any words of advice you have before he moves forward with this project?
Typically just have oversight. It kind of goes against what he wants because he wants to keep as few people involved as possible.
Yeah, this is on the down low.
But the problem is not to disparage any other professions, but typically we're in business because we're the third-party inspectors. As projects go to construction, we're the client's insurance to make sure the contractor's doing things correctly.
I feel like this fellow probably has a good method for keeping his contractors in line. That's my guess.
If he wants to assume the liability, I would imagine that he would take the risk.
So one other thing I wanted to ask you about, and this is probably going to be happening in the same vicinity. Let's talk about kryptonite.
Okay.
Now, the concept that pieces of your home planet could carry radiation that would be poisonous to you on another planet, I don't know if that gets too far afield of your area of study or not.
Well, one's comics.
Yeah, sure.
And one's real life.
Sure.
Wait.
Sorry to I know it's going to blow a thing line.
If everybody was paying attention, poor Red Ranger's brain just went...
I mean, there's actually some radioactive minerals that it can happen deep in the Earth's core through millions of years, and if it's got the right chemical reactions, there are certain minerals that are actually radioactive naturally. For the next topic here, it's going to require a level. Did anybody here read comic books in the 90s? Image comics?
Oh, yeah.
All right, now I'm going to ask you to put aside personal preferences and come at this purely from the academic viewpoint that I know you have. Bad Rock. You're familiar?
I'm familiar.
You remember Bad Rock, you guys, from
Yeah.
Youngblood? Rob Liefeld's big... All right. Bad Rock versus old Benjamin Grimm, The Thing.
I think that's a no-brainer, The Thing, all the way.
Oh, wow. Not even a second to think about it.
Don't have to think about it.
What about you guys? Are there any Bad Rock fans in the audience?
I think Bad Rock was just responsible
Not
for all
even-
the rocks that blocked feet so that Rob didn't have to draw them.
I'll give you that one. That's okay. We'll let you go on that. No, that's... I don't know that I read more than 3 comics with Bad Rock involved, because I think everybody, like Liefeld's fame kind of lasted up to Marvel. He got Image a good start, and then as all the other Image creators did, he kind of tapered off and stopped working, which is a weird way to start a new company. What are some of your favorite geology-related superheroes? What are some guys that maybe control the Earth?
Sure. I think my favorite is Geoforce. He was part of the Outsiders when Batman and the Outsiders started.
Okay.
Famously known to be the lesser-known sibling of Terra, who was involved in the Judas contract for the Teen Titans.
Didn't know that. I know Terra only because of the Teen Titans cartoon.
Yeah, that was a huge thing, especially before the internet. That was a big surprise for everybody when she made the turn. They made a big deal of introducing her to the Teen Titans, and then she was a puppet of Deathstroke. But he's her brother, I think. But I always liked the costume, even though it was terrible looking with the yellow and green. I just always liked the gauntlets. But he could control gravity and shoot blast or something. So as far as aesthetic, I always like reading comics and drawing comics. I always liked him as my number one. I think after that, it's actually Sandy, the Robin knockoff sidekick of the Sandman.
Oh, wow. That's going way back.
Well, that's where he started, and then in the 2000s, when Jeff Johns relaunched the Justice Society, he came back. I guess years ago before that, the last time you saw him, he had turned into some kind of like sand monster. So when he was reintroduced for the recent Justice Society, he was able to control it. So he basically was living sand, much like
Comics,
Sandman.
everyone.
So it only took 30 years to resolve that plot hole, and he came back and he actually led the JSA for a while. Another favorite has to be Cave Carson. If you're not familiar,
I gotta. Have you read the new Cave Carson book?
I have not, but I've heard it was excellent.
Has anybody in here read the current Young Animal Cave Carson? It lost me, man. It was too much. It was one of those things where I was like, I'm not. It was like reading Jonathan Hickman. It was like, I'm not smart enough to read this.
My favorite part about it, I guess the only reason I like him is because his superpower is that he has a PhD in geology.
I feel like you're more qualified to read that comic than I was. Maybe you'll dig it a little more than I did.
Yeah, I need to check it out. To be honest, I didn't even realize it existed until I googled.
I think the trades are out now. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Mr. Jay Hornsby. You can find him at belligerentmonkey.com for geology and for art. Ladies and gentlemen, Ricky Zero and the world's nicest band featuring Bambi Lynn on cat-themed things.
Yes.
Are we ready to learn? Are we ready to have some fun? Because you can do both of those things. Ladies and gentlemen, our next guest works at the Center for Puppetry Arts and is acclaimed across the world as an ambassador of puppetry. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Bo Brown.
Hi.
Hey.
How's it going?
It's going great. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'll take it.
What are we doing? No,
That was
this
mostly
is good.
for effect. You want to do
It's
it?
effect.
wanna do
I'm
it?
not
You can
teaching
pull
anybody
stuff out.
anything.
Well, you can pull things out for me.
What is this? What's happening? What are we doing?
Well, that's a bag of puppets. You can tell it's puppets because there's rods sticking out of the end.
Your more advanced puppeteers can manipulate rods while they do this.
That's right.
What are you here to do?
Well, I was going to talk a little bit about puppetry and then maybe get some intrepid young audience members, but everyone's young here, up on stage and give them a chance to try it out, and then maybe they could take those puppets home. Was that the deal?
Yeah, I think we've got some puppets that maybe could go home with a couple of people who are willing to come up here and learn some puppetry real quick. Does that sound good?
Yeah. Up to three volunteers who are interested in trying their hand at some puppetry. We have 3 puppets, so any 3 members of the audience who want to get on up here?
Young man, come on up.
Anybody else? Need 2 more? Somebody who... Okay, you've got puppetry experience. This is all old hat
2
to
more.
you.
Or one. We can do one more.
We can do one more. That's
one
fine.
of them.
Okay, sure. One more.
I can do my goofy, don't know what's happening thing. One more volunteer. Come on up.
Hero.
Yeah.
Right. Come on up. So puppetry is an ancient art form created by humans. It is much like many other art forms. But there are puppetry traditions all over the world, and if there's one thing about humans, is they love to make little tiny versions of themselves. Exactly. Just infinitely good at it. So puppetry, in primitive times, was a way to give form to things that were formless, the spirits or the gods, and they were often used in rituals. And then they became a form of entertainment. But in the beginning, puppetry was very tied to mythology and mysticism, and to give form to the formless. And then now we predominantly use them for entertainment. So the type of puppetry that we're going to work on, we have some beautiful puppets from a company called Folk Manus, which is a great company that makes these adorable puppets that are very well produced. In fact, a friend of mine, Lex Rudd, who some of you, did anybody watch Jim Henson's Creature Shop Challenge? Yeah, Lex was one of the contestants on there. She's the British one that they had to give they felt like they had to give her subtitles because American audiences will never understand a British accent. So anyway, so we've got a couple of puppets here. Would you like the whale or the fox? Oh, you seem very strongly attracted to that one. That's good.
No, she just knew if we're going down to fox and whale, which way this is going.
Oh, well. So for purposes of this demonstration, I've brought along my friend Howard. Howard is the star of a short film called The Dark Companion, which you can watch online if you look up The New Puppet Order, which is my puppet production company, on YouTube. You can watch The Dark Companion. There's Howard. Howard is the Paul Giamatti of my puppets.
Clearly.
Yeah, so that's sort of where he's at. So the three, all of these puppets have working mouths. So you should be able to manipulate the mouths of these puppets. Now, the number one rule. Well, we'll start with the basics. Then we'll get to lip sync, which is what we would consider. When you see the Muppets and they speak dialogue like that. And Jim Henson really kind of invented all that. I mean, as far as putting puppets that deliver actual dialogue on television, in many ways, he helped establish that. Sherry Lewis and other puppeteers did that. Sherry Lewis with moving mouths, but otherwise you had puppets like Howdy Doody or well, let's not get into a big old Jim Henson thing. I can do that all day.
That's a whole episode.
So there's there's three basic foundational rules to puppetry: breath, gravity, and focus. So breath is that our puppets need to be alive. The second that your puppet isn't doing something, it's dead. So puppets, they need to sort of breathe. They need to be alive. They need to be moving around a little bit all the time. Okay? And that's the breath of life. Okay? The second is gravity. Puppets shouldn't float around. We should have a basic understanding of where they exist. Yes, Dave, do you have a question? Now, some puppets float. Sometimes puppets do float. So, but you would say, okay, I know that this puppet is swimming through the water. I have a basic. If he wants to swim, then he maybe would need to move his tail to move it in direction. That's the same thing.
It's not just
there's not that their movement isn't random, that there's a reason behind their movement. So if we are imagining that Howard is standing somewhere, then I need to keep him at the same height. He shouldn't change a lot about how tall his legs are. His legs should stay, we imagine his legs to be a certain length, depending on if we're watching it on television or if we're watching a live show. So we should be consistent with where the floor is. So that's gravity, so that the puppet should be affected by gravity. The third is focus, and focus is where your puppet looks. Now, every puppet has a different focus, and you have to learn what that is. Some puppets have naturally a very high focus. It means you need to tilt your head down, your hand down, so that when they look at stuff, it actually looks like they're actually looking at stuff. So if my puppet is, if I'm having a conversation with Bo now, and I'm doing it like this, now my hand is straight at me if I'm doing it like this, but the puppet is looking at the ceiling. So you want to find the puppet's focus and have it look at you while it's delivering the dialogue. Okay? So those are tricks. All right? So, breath, focus, gravity. So, why don't we do a little simple exercise? We'll do the ABCs. So why don't we get you guys all together and I'll move over here. How about that? Why don't you come on over here? Now what you want to do is you want to try to isolate your thumb, okay? Because when puppets with moving mouths talk, so for example, when I talk, my jaw moves, but my head does not. See how when I talk, this hand down here is moving, but the hand on the top of my head is not moving. Okay? Now, the natural inclination is when you do puppets is to move the top of your hand, which makes your puppet do this when it talks. And as much fun as it is to watch puppets have epileptic seizures, it's not an accurate way of reflecting the way that animals and things talk. So try to focus. We call that isolating your thumb. You want to isolate your thumb. Try to keep the top of your hand.
That takes muscles I don't even use.
Exactly. It's not intuitive. You have to learn it. You have to practice it. So first thing is we're going to try to keep the top of our hand as stationary as possible, and when we deliver dialogue, we want it to happen from the thumb.
So the thumb's supposed to be in the mouth?
The thumb should be in the jaw.
Well, what? I got this all wrong.
You're going for the advanced class, I think.
So put the top of your hand in the top of the puppet. Now all these puppets are designed for smaller hands. These are designed for kids and stuff. So anyway, so you want to isolate the thumb. All right. So let's try to talk with our thumbs. Now the other thing. So one is talk with the thumb, and the one is that we open on sounds. We don't close on sounds. Open on sounds. Don't close on sounds. All right? I know. It's not intuitive. You have to learn it. All right. So let's try the ABCs. So let's get our puppets up.
All right.
Our thumbs in the lower jaw. Face them out to the audience. And we're going to do the ABCs. Okay? Everybody ready?
Ready.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Deliver the lines. So say the ABCs with me, with your mouths, and think about your jaw and your thumb moving together.
All right.
Let's try it again. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Say the alphabet with me.
With me.
H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, that's the tricky one, X, Y, and Z. All right, how'd they do? Very good. All right. Thank you all so much. I believe you can keep your puppets.
Yes. Everybody, you guys hang on to your puppets. I'm going to keep my whale.
Well, you know, when you bought that, you didn't think this was how it was going to play out, did you?
Yeah, no, I really didn't.
Well, thank you very much for coming out and teaching everybody puppetry. Be sure and check out the Center for Puppetry Arts here in Atlanta. You can visit their website. I mean, we all know how Google works, right?
And the Valentine's Pumpkin Puppet Show, February 3rd.
February 3rd.
At the Village Theater. At 7:30.
All right. Now, I've been introducing our band tonight as Ricky Zero and the World's Nicest Band, which is true. It is true. However, they also play as the Possum Kingdom Ramblers. And now, some special friends are going to join them to perform a song called Space Cat. Ladies and gentlemen, Possum Kingdom Ramblers.
If I had a cat, he would be a space cat. If I had a cat, he would be a space cat. He'd fly around the sky all day, dreaming from the Milky Way. He would be a space cat. If I had a cat, he would work for NASA. If I had a cat, he would work for NASA. He'd sail up in his rocket ship, in the Big Dipper he'd take a dip. would be a space cat. Fly around the sky all day, drinking from the Milky Way. He would be a space cat. He would be a space cat. He would be a space cat. He would be a space cat.
Hey, Bear, that was some good space cat.
Oh, thanks. I was puppeting.
You must have picked up a lot of tips from that puppet guy that was here.
I did, Bo Brown. He taught me almost everything I know about puppeting.
Bear, did you get to see that I was up there with the Pasadena Ramblers and I was playing on the saw, but I don't know that you could hear it too loudly.
I heard it.
Yeah, could you
Yeah,
hear it?
absolutely.
I don't know how monitors work.
Me either. That could go in our book, Things We Don't Know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
we
that's
could,
a big
We could
book.
write a whole book of things that we don't
We
know
don't
about.
understand, yeah.
Wasn't there a host for this thing?
I thought so, but maybe not. Oh!
Oh, hey!
Oh, hi.
Hi, friend!
Hey,
What you got there?
you guys, this showed up earlier here. It was
Hold on,
sitting
Space
here.
Cat, go here.
Uh-huh.
So I guess you guys are doing a bit. Is
Okay.
that right?
Maybe. I don't know. This is weird. We get a lot of
Oh,
strange...
that looks like your prediction.
Yeah, this I made earlier. This isn't the package that would have arrived for us today, but
Oh,
maybe...
so you're doing lots of bits.
No.
Oh wait, this is the package.
Yeah, this is the one I set up that we
this is
probably
the
won't do.
This is the similarly colored package.
Yeah, the great thing about these boxes is they're free until you send them.
Oh, Bear! Hey, Bear, can I open it?
I mean, that is one of your superpowers. What's it say? Hold on. Who's it from?
It says Bean and Bear, care of Intown Coffeehouse. Doesn't say who it's from.
Your finger's freaking me out, Bean.
Oh, no,
No,
don't be afraid.
oh.
Sometimes
Don't
Bean,
be afraid.
Oh, I don't like that at all.
Bean needs a little hand to open
Oh.
the packages. What you got there, Bean? Oh, it's sticky. That's great.
Let's see. Ooh,
What is it?
ooh. This looks like a whole bunch of stuff.
Oh,
There's, here.
what's this?
Oh, Bear, there's some writing on here.
Writing? Oh,
Yeah.
good. Can I read it?
Yeah, Bear's been working.
May I read it?
Oh, hi, everybody. I'm Bean.
Oh, I'm Bear. We're Bean and Bear.
We're Bean and Bear. Well, Bear, me and Bear are very best friends. And I gotta say that my best friend Bear has been working very hard on his reading lately. So, if y'all wouldn't mind, I think that this is a great opportunity for him to try some public speaking.
Oh.
Okay. And remember, Bear, if you have any trouble with any of the words, just sound them out.
Okay.
Okay.
Or ask for help.
Oh, you can
Is
always
that an
ask a,
option?
you
Okay,
can always ask
good.
a friend for help, for sure.
Okay, good, because I need a lot of help these days. Okay.
Come hang out with you.
Awesome. Dearest Bean and Bear, I hope that this package has found you well on your travels. You two are not easy to keep up with. Luckily, my extra perception? What's that word?
Extra perceptionary.
Oh, that's Fantagio has that.
Oh, is this Fantasio? Is this from Fantasio to Fantastic?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Amazing. Okay.
He's our magician friend. He's
All right, this is
Bear,
gonna be
almost everything
exciting.
He knows about
Okay.
magic.
I long for a time when I can enjoy a snack together around my divining table. I found this interesting relic the other day in a marvelously mystical marketplace in Morocco. I knew it would
That's
fit.
in Africa.
That is. I knew it would fit your act perfectly. I have included herein all that you need to perform this ancient piece of being. It's prestidigitation.
Digitation. Prestidigitation.
Oh,
It's a-
like
it's a-
magic.
Yeah, it's a fancy word for a magic trick.
Okay, prestidigitation entitled The Mystery of the Vanishing Yellow Bandana.
Ooh.
Inside this
Oh,
package.
wait. Is there magic?
I think so. I think he sent us a trick.
What? Oh, I'm sorry. I interrupted you.
No, yeah, it says, I have included herein all that you need and the instructions to perform this ancient piece of prestidigitation entitled The Mystery of the Vanishing Yellow Bandana.
Oh, magic on the radio. What could be better?
I know.
Perfect.
I'm really
Okay.
excited.
That means that you will have an opportunity to react really big.
Yeah, so the listeners at home know what happens. Inside this package, you should find a letter from me,
Check.
The magical scarf of Marrakesh.
Ooh. Ooh.
And
check.
the vanishing yellow bandana. First,
I'm sorry, Bear. What? The vanishing yellow.
bandana.
Okay.
Bandana, yeah.
Okay.
First, fold the yellow bandana in half, and in half once again. This is preparation for a technique called palming.
Okay.
Okay, crumple the yellow bandana into a small ball and hold it. Do I need to get that? I will. Crumple the yellow bandana into a small ball and hold it in your hand, concealing it from the audience whilst holding your hand in a natural-looking position to disguise that you are concealing the yellow bandana. This is called palming. Oh, yeah, that's great. I can't see it at all.
Oh, great.
Good. All right. Oh, I bet you're doing a fine job of this bean. He says his extra perceptionary senses knew you would be performing this.
Ooh.
Now that you have learned the deceptive art of palming, let's begin the mystery. Take the magical scarf of Marrakesh and display it to the audience, eliciting a series of oohs and ahs from the crowd. Next, take the yellow bandana and display it to the audience, eliciting oohs and ahs as well. Demonstrate to the audience that it is an ordinary yellow bandana, similar to one they may have at home. If they need to be convinced a bit more, offer it to a gentleman in the audience to wipe his brow. Okay.
Sean, can you help us out?
No.
I think Red Ranger.
Rad Ranger would probably do that. Yeah, it works every time.
All right.
You all see and confirm it is an ordinary yellow
All right.
bandana.
Fold the yellow bandana in half, and in half once again,
Okay.
and crumple it into a small ball.
Yep.
Show it to the audience in a fantastical display, and then hand it to an audience member to hold momentarily. This is further proof to them and the rest of the audience, especially the audience listening at home, that it is indeed a real yellow bandana. All right. Gather the corners of your magical scarf of Marrakesh to form a small purse.
Okay.
That is pretty.
Isn't it lovely?
Yeah.
Hope it stays this nice forever.
Me too. It's probably expensive. It looks
It looks, I mean, it came all the way from Morocco.
all the way from Morocco.
I think, is this like I've gathered
That looks good to
corners? It's a pouch.
All
I
right.
feel like its niceness is going to be
Yeah.
short-lived.
Retrieve the yellow bandana from the audience member as the rest of the audience applauds. Openly place the yellow bandana into the purse you have fashioned from the magical scarf and crumble it into a small ball at the center. However, there's parentheses. However, secretly you did not put the yellow bandana into the purse. Remember palming.
Well, now I do.
Oh, good. After making a dramatic, seemingly magical gesture, pinch the corners of the magical scarf of Marrakesh and fling the scarf open toward your audience, showing that the yellow bandana has completely vanished. Whoa! That was amazing!
Bean and Bear, ladies and gentlemen.
Did you see that on the radio?
That was amazing!
It's in magic. Usually Bear's the magic
That
one.
was so visual, you guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's real hard to follow if you're not watching.
Well, that's okay. This will just encourage everyone listening at home to seek out Bean and Bear on the internet.
You know, that's right. Or can we? I mean, we might have something looking down the road here a little bit. Could we talk about it?
Let's talk about down the road.
Oh yes. So we perform puppetry, magic, and other BS.
bizarre stuff.
And we are we really like doing shows with people. We've gotten to do some shows with our friends the Possum Kingdom Ramblers. And we are going to get the chance to perform for the first time with another friend of ours.
Yeah.
Blair Crimmins of Blair Crimmins and the Hookers.
Yeah.
He's fantastic. Does like a ragtimey river boat music kind of thing.
Yeah, it's
And,
he's gonna come be our musical guest for Friendsentine's Day on February 11th.
Oh,
It's
lovely.
it's a Sunday matinee show at 3-ish, 4
afternoon.
Yep, afternoon. At Darwin's Burgers and Blues. It's a really great place, and there's live music every night, and then on Sundays they've been doing a lot of like more
They let like the likes of us.
Yeah, like more family-based shows, and like and their kids there and everything. So it's great.
Very cool. So everybody look for Bean and Bear. Check out Darwin's Burgers and Blues. And Bean and Bear, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Oh,
Hey, we wanted to say, as a congratulations for your 200th show, we just wanted to present you with a little award.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
And something a little flashier for your lapel.
Ooh.
Oh, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, Bean and Bear.
Oh, don't forget your saw.
I see it.
You did good.
I see it. Wait, saw.
Do you know what Tennessee? What Arkansas?
Bean and Bear, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's leave the jokes to Ricky. Yeah, right?
All right, it is time for our musical guests, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for the Casket Creatures.
It is the year 2027. Humanity's science has created wonders beyond the wildest dreams of past generations. But now, has man gone too far? Black science has ripped a hole in reality, and this universe must face the madness that lies beyond in the Phantom Zone.
Casket Creatures, and this is a song about space. If that makes sense.
Lawful ranks of treason, protecting my own kind. They never understand. They said I lost my mind. Politics and pushovers are all I left behind. Now I'm stuck here waiting until the end of time. I will be set free. All shall kneel before me. Sing with me. To the Phantom Zone we will go. There is no feeling. To the Phantom Zone we will go. You're never leaving. To the Phantom Zone you will go. Content forever. To the Phantom Zone you will go. Black hole for eternity. You can't stop what's coming, you'll only make it worse. I put my trust in the wrong people, but this is not a burst. You will finally understand when we are memory, a distant remnant of ourselves, of what we used to be. I will be set free. All shall kneel before me. To the Phantom Zone we will go. There is no feeling. To the Phantom Zone we will go. You're never leaving. To the Phantom Zone we will go. Content forever. To the Phantom Zone we will go. Black hole for eternity.
Alright, this is the part where people normally get wild, so everybody.
To the Phantom Zone we will go.
Come on, everybody!
To the Phantom Zone we will go.
Come on, come on, come on!
To the Phantom Zone we will go. There is no feeling. To the Phantom Zone we will go. You're never leaving. To the Phantom Zone we will go. Content forever. To the Phantom Zone we will go. Black hole for eternity.
Thank you.
you. We're the Casket Creatures. And our next time is Black Space. Thank you guys for having us.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Casket Creatures. You guys come over here. No, come over and sit down. We're going to talk to you for a minute.
Oh.
Because we have the unanticipated need to have the other band set back up for our close.
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah.
we're gonna talk to the Casket Creatures for just a minute.
I like it.
So Phantom Zone's a new song for you guys, but you've been playing it for a little while.
Yeah. So we decided, like, we have 4 albums out now, and all of them have been, like, you know, spooky horror stuff. Some have been a little more supernatural themed. Some have been, you know, it kind of runs the gambit. And this year we were like, what does every famous horror franchise do? It goes to space. So the Casket Creatures are going to space, and Phantom Zone will be our first single.
Just like Jason did.
Absolutely.
Jason Goes to Space.
Yeah.
Which came 9 movies after Jason 1.
You know, that's my second favorite movie after Superman 1.
So when do you guys have, what's your timeline of performances, new stuff coming out? What are you looking at?
You want to take this?
We're playing Days of the Dead pre-party at the Claremont Lounge.
Days of the Dead next weekend, everybody.
Next Thursday with our good friends in Elzig and Dusty Booze.
Yep.
And then Saturday, we are headlining Days of the Dead this year. Last year we got to play Friday, but this year they moved us to Saturday.
Yeah.
Big Saturday night show.
We're bringing our friends Elzig along with us. So
Yeah.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I'm really stoked about it. I mean, like, last year it was just us, and we had a great time. But this year with Elzig, I think it's just going to be insane.
It's going to be like the main event of WrestleMania.
Yeah, like, I think it's just going to be awesome.
Except with horror rock.
Exactly, yeah. So, I mean, I just think it's going to be a good night. And this year, I mean, you know, like, this year's just going to be awesome because there's so many Atlanta people.
Yeah,
So
we're
everyone's
going to kill
together.
her.
Yeah.
We're going to take it over, and it's going to be ridiculous.
So do not miss Days of the Dead Atlanta.
Kevin and Ryan from the Casket Creatures, thank you so much for coming on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming out tonight. Everybody who was part of the show, come on back up to the stage. We want to do a big closing number. I hope everybody's ready to sing and dance, right?
Yes.
No, I wasn't serious. Stop.
Can I move this?
You can move this. Carefully move it, but yeah. All right, this has been the 200th episode of the Needless Things podcast. If I had any idea I would end up doing 200 of these, I probably would have stopped in the first place. Thank you so much for coming out to the Intown Coffeehouse. Don't forget to stop by the basket and donate, help keep this place in business. Thank you so much to Ricky Zero and the world's nicest band. Thank you to the Casket Creatures. Thank you to Bean and Bear. Geologist Jay Hornsby. My pal, my sidekick, my favorite guy in the world, Rad Ranger, and his horrible shoes. Negative Nelson, everybody. It's gonna be okay, buddy. It's gonna be okay. And finally, Mr. Bo Brown. Needless Things 200, thank you so much.